And we are live with Daniel Nagel today. Welcome everybody to Moody's Hour, first episode of the Sports Edition. We'll be talking today about soccer, the Champions League draw, the UEFA League draw, some good news about the U.S. soccer team, and our road to glory to World Cup 2022 in Qatar. Hey Nagel, how are you?
Not too bad. How you doing, Moudy?
I'm doing great, man. I'm really excited to actually have you and talk about soccer. For people who don't know out there, I know Nagel for about 12 years now. He was my club soccer captain when we were in college. Played hours and hours of soccer, and we always talk about soccer whenever we meet. And I know he's multiple of our friends, so that's why exactly we're sitting together chatting about soccer. How you doing, man? It's been a while.
It has been. It's good to see you as always, and thanks for having me on your show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So I want to start with really quickly. I'm really excited about this U.S. men's soccer team and the young cast that are coming up. A lot of them play in Europe, not just Europe, but really good, respected clubs in Europe, good academies. I'm sure they will build up their personality and also techniques and everything like that. How do you see that?
So it's an interesting dynamic seeing a lot of the youth players coming through in the top clubs of Europe right now. A lot of it is because the MLS had some rules in place that didn't allow for consolidation payments. Mm-hmm. So they basically could get around paying non-MLS clubs fees for training. And so Europe obviously saw an economic chance to come in and get some players on the cheap. And
exactly.
We saw a boon of young players going over to Europe around 16 if they had a passport or 18 if they didn't. And I think they actually recently made a change so that they could start picking up those payments. But I don't see...
But why? What for? You want to keep the players out here? I'm not sure if that's a good strategy either.
No, I mean, it's not necessarily to keep the players out. Europe will obviously come and play. We're a huge market, right?
Yeah.
So we have several people, they want to build their brands, and part of it is having the next young American star. And I mean, the MLS they see it as a source of revenue now, where they were trying to, not pay people before. The amount that was there was a significantly smaller amount than what they'd be picking up from these European teams, especially with potential sell.
Why do you think? Why do you think recently we see more American players out there? I mean, do you think Christian Pulisic kind of paved the way for this transition slash?
I would say it definitely helped expedite it. There were a growing number before Pulisic started of young players going over there, but no one had really broken through at the level that he had.
Yes.
In the fashion that he did. And when he made that splash on the scene, I think it definitely encouraged that next generation. You're starting to see it now. Giovanni Reyna is one of them. Weston McKennie followed shortly after. Tyler Adams, Josh Sargent.
I will stop you at Gio Reyna because I was just listening to his interview recently, and he was crediting, it was Men in Blazers, by the way, for anybody who want to watch it, and he was crediting Christian Pulisic because he was paving the way. What he was talking about was something very interesting, is there is a stigma on U.S. soccer players in Europe. He's American, dude. He must not be good. He's American. Right? Let's just put it this way. And you would talk to even Landon Donovan. He would tell you a lot about that. He was a really good player, but he would never fully get the chance. Even when he went out on loan to Everton, he did really good back in the day, but still it couldn't be permanent. And it just didn't work out. There's always a stigma about American players, but Gio Reyna in that interview was crediting Pulisic for kind of wiping out this stigma of he's an American player, dude. What do you think about that?
I completely agree. I think there was a period of time where the American soccer player was seen as not very technically good, but
physical,
had a
run around.
Exactly. Somebody who's going to be
Jermaine Jones.
Hard in the tackle. Yeah, but Jermaine was never really developed in the United States.
That is
Jermaine
correct.
was developed
in
Germany
Germany,
and Europe.
yeah.
And I mean, Jermaine Jones is, honestly, he's an animal. He is one special.
But that's kind of like the idea when somebody thinks of an American soccer player, like I'm running a lot, physical, fit, but not necessarily technical and, tiki-taka and stuff like that. So I completely agree. Christian Pulisic definitely did not look like that at all. He's a very fit, he's slim, he's small, on the smaller side of things. And he's got that Croatian blood, I guess, so that's worked out, So, but who excites you the most out of all these guys, man?
Ooh.
Like, who do you enjoy watching? Who do you think, like, this guy's going places?
I mean, as a Chelsea fan, I'm obviously a huge Christian Pulisic fan. I want to see him do well. I'm a huge fan of Weston McKennie. I love the energy that he brings to the game.
Box-to-box game.
Yeah, and just the player, that player that you played with. He leaves it all on his heart.
Yeah.
Every single time, it's all on the sleeve. He goes out there and he just puts it all on the field, and that's the type of player you want to go into battle with.
Absolutely. Especially in your midfield, you need to have somebody like that, the engine room right there. So I completely agree. What about Tyler Adams? He's kind of in the same position, but he just can't. He can't start for Leipzig. He's a big part of the squad, but he seems like he's lost in position. Like he doesn't know if his best position is center mid, center defensive mid, offensive mid, or what exactly. It's kind of hard to tell with him, but I see a lot of potential.
I think he has some of the problems that Weston had at Schalke at first, where he's useful in a lot of different roles, and so they're going to move him around, and it leaves it difficult for him to continue to develop in what's probably his best role, which is as a 6, kind of in the N'Golo Kante, smaller.
He likes to drive forward a bit and take a shot here and there. Like he wouldn't mind doing that. He's not like a Kante or something like that. Even Kante sometimes does that, but Tyler Adams does it more.
He's capable of doing it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's something that I would try to highlight in his game.
True,
I think
true.
You allow for the opportunity to exist depending on what styles you're going to play, but I think he's really truly best served as that 6 behind two players in the midfield and let him clean up.
I agree. Well, are you worried about Gio Reyna at all? Dortmund seems to be freaking collapsing. Let's just put it. They just fired Lucien Favre, the head coach, and Breda Haaland, whatever his name is, the Norwegian big guy. He's injured, and ever since he got injured, Dortmund just collapsed.
Yeah, I mean, it's near impossible to replace the goal scoring output that he put out there. But realistically, Dortmund was never going to win that league.
Are you worried about Gio Reyna's form kind of deteriorating with the team kind of collapsing in a way? Because most likely we're going to talk about the Champions League draw, but they didn't really have a favorite. We'll take a look at it. However, do you see any problems with the team kind of sinking in a little bit in the Bundesliga and him not getting the chance to show what he's all about and develop more?
He's 18. He's got plenty of years ahead of him. This is really the first year that he's truly breaking in and making a stamp for himself. And really the most important thing is that he's playing and he's competing day in, day out. He's a crucial part of the team. Exactly. There's no given position. Like, he has to work to maintain that. He's not just going to be granted an automatic starting spot. And I think that daily grind is something that he's going to need to learn. And honestly, getting put to the bench occasionally as an 18-year-old isn't the end of the world. Especially
it's certainly not. You need it. You need it every now and then because it just keeps your feet on the ground, and that's how you develop. I mean, even Cristiano Ronaldo in Manchester United, when he started, he was on the bench for the most part. So, and that's the god of soccer in a way. So I think you need that. So I'm with you. I agree. We shouldn't really worry about that with him. We probably hope he should move on, go to the Premier League. But other than that, I don't think we should be worried. Now, moving on to one of these players that doesn't have the media attention and even the fans' attention too much. He's another U.S. international. He plays for Fulham, left back.
I was going to bring him up.
Robertson. And you know what? The first time I watched him play for Fulham, obviously Fulham sucked for the first couple of weeks in the Premier League. Everybody was saying they're going to get relegated. I like Fulham a lot personally because I'm a Chelsea fan, so as you, and they're obviously our neighbors, and we don't see them as kind of like very competitive, so we don't kind of have that derby hate. But we do like him because we're actually on Fulham Road as Chelsea, and we feel for him. And now they've been improving, and I gotta say he's been playing really well. He's got the fitness. He's fast. When he keeps it simple, he's good. What do you think?
I'm glad you brought him up. Actually, he was one of the players I want to keep an eye on. Right, so every team needs a legitimate left back. That's probably one of the harder positions to find.
Indeed.
And while he's still young and has a lot of areas I think he can improve. You don't find a lot of players with his size and speed.
True.
And he's also got a hell of a left foot and a cross. So, I mean, does he still have some areas I think he needs to improve? Absolutely.
How old is he now?
I believe he's 22. So
he's still on the young side, yeah.
He's still on the young side. He came up through Everton's academy, so he got a good education.
I didn't even know that. Wow.
Went on loan to Wigan for a little bit.
So made his rounds in the championship.
Exactly.
It's a tough league, by the way. A lot of people underestimate that, but it's a tough league.
And then they purchased him, and then I want to say he was the second or third highest rated player in the championship as a left back last year before he was purchased.
Wow.
So it was only a matter of time until, you know, a team came knocking on the door. He's young, he's athletic, he fits the profile. He's starting to settle in at Fulham. I think he's making that role his own. And whether or not Fulham stays up or not, he's got a bright future ahead of him.
I think they might. I actually think they really might. They've got a good coach and they're starting to get to know each other a little more. They gave Liverpool one heck of a game yesterday. They got robbed. They should have won the game. They got robbed for so many reasons, not just one or two, and they were just good. So I'm hoping that they would stay because there's another American international as well on that team, right? Ream.
Tim Ream.
Yeah, but you know we're not too excited about Tim Ream, are we?
No, Tim's a good player, but realistically at this point in his career,
he's a good leader, but you know his capabilities are kind of.
He's never had the athleticism to be able to really play at a high level in the EPL. So if you're playing any type of high line, he's always going to struggle there.
But people don't know he's a center back.
Yes, and you know he's good on the ball. I think he adds value.
He's just a little slow in my opinion. I mean his reactions and whatnot, to kind of retrieve a ball or make a decision. As a center back, it's all about decisions. Daniel was a center back. A quick one too, so he knows about that role, and I think he just lacks it. But he's also older, right? He's not too young.
Yeah, he's in his early 30s, so he's kind of at the tail end of his career.
Maybe he'll make it to 2022 as kind of a leader. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe. I think
I'm kind of worried about that defensive positions on the goalkeeper. Do we have a good goalkeeper in this team, bro?
I mean, Stefan's at City right now. Obviously, he's not.
He just played.
Yeah.
I can't remember which game.
The sixth game, City already had it locked up. It was a good way to kind of get his feet wet.
Correct. I mean, a good save with his face and all that.
Let's be real. He's obviously not going to beat Ederson out at City, but I do think it's a great chance for him to get some education under Pep. Whenever you get a chance to work for one of the best coaches in the world, even if he just takes it for a year, playing all the cups, domestic cups.
For his resume, he can go somewhere else and pick up his trade and keep going. But I'm surprised that the US doesn't have many goalkeeper options as we always used to. I mean, you got the Howards and what was it, Brad Friedel. Who else was the third one?
Casey Keller.
And then the fourth from Aston Villa. What is his name?
You had Tim Howard for a long time, who was
the guy from Aston Villa.
Guzan.
And all of them were pretty good. I probably still rate Tim Howard to be the highest. Just looking at his career, and probably Brad Friedel had a really good, successful, long career as well. Casey Keller, I didn't really watch. I was too young for that. But what happened? America was known kind of for the Premiership goalkeepers and whatnot.
I think some of it was when the United States was still early in soccer. Goalkeeper was probably one of the easier things for athletes to kind of pick up. They already had hand-eye coordination. They were bigger, athletic. So
100%.
It was easy for them to kind of integrate into that position. And then at the same time, because the MLS wasn't really an established league, European teams could come in and buy these guys for dirt cheap. They didn't have the same issues. Then you have the whole EEU causing, issues for players coming in and citizenship rules and stuff like that makes things difficult.
Yeah.
Then with the MLS's growth and then requesting more for players, some of those mid-table, smaller clubs that might have said, hey, we can buy this guy for cheap and bring him in.
But how about the MLS? Do we have any good goalkeepers that we should worth mentioning in the MLS at the moment?
It's really tough for me for keepers in the MLS just because the quality of attacker that they're
the whole level of the league, it doesn't give you a real picture of what's going to happen in an international game, and I agree with you on that. But the MLS is a whole big another topic. Maybe we'll get to in this episode, maybe we won't. But I want to ask you this. I'm really excited about this team going to the World Cup 2022. We're pretty much in 2021, so it's about a year from now, a year and a half. And am I right to be excited about this team and that road to glory, or how I call it?
Absolutely. I mean, the talent is there. I think there's still a few key positions that it's going to take some time to develop, but a lot can happen between now and then. Quite frankly, my biggest concern with 2022 is more from a coaching standpoint than it is from a player
I
talent
agree, which I was
standpoint.
gonna. You can dive in there if you like. I was just gonna ask you about it too.
Honestly, I think Greg's a little naive when it comes to his approach. We saw him waste a lot of time in a system with a regista that just we didn't have the player that fit that he wanted. Bradley,
But you gotta
we,
try things in order to know what works and what doesn't. So I'm not gonna, put the chopping block on his neck because
But see, that system was already getting phased out of soccer all over. The issue is to play that type of system, you have to have a truly special player as a deep line playmaker. And the reason Bradley got cast into that role was less that he was a special playmaker and more that he lost some of his athleticism.
Doesn't run.
Exactly. And it was more about protecting Bradley on the field, and he still brought a high level of
and
leadership.
he's not
but-
Pirlo at the same time. Like Pirlo didn't run, but he would
Exactly.
give you that pass that would kill a game. I mean, Bradley was obviously a good player. I mean, all respect to, and he did great for the national team. But like you said, when he just got up there in age, it was just a little harder for everybody around him too. So I agree with you, but what do you think? Should we go get Jesse Marsh or what, man?
I mean, I think it would be a step back for Marsh to try to take the job, to be honest. Realistically, where he's at right now.
We
he's
shouldn't
at
do
a
that to
highly-
him. We should just have him go have a great career and see what he makes out of it.
I want him to take Europe by storm. I want him to get a big European gig, the same way that Pulisic inspired some of the
Because he might go to
young
Dortmund. I
players.
don't know if you. I read that, but I don't know.
Maybe there was always talk that he was going to go to Leipzig to replace Nagelsmann when he leaves. Obviously,
Dortmund
he's
is
in the
vacant.
Red Bull.
There's not a lot of vacant coaches. Tough time. It's December. You're going into the Champions League in February. I mean, they probably have to move quick. And I heard Jesse Marsh. He speaks a little German, by the way, with an accent, but he does. And he's doing great with Salzburg, but Salzburg kind of let him down. He could have qualified instead of Atletico Madrid, and we probably could have been facing him as Chelsea. By the way, we're both Chelsea fans, so if you guys don't know, and if you can't tell from the jersey, and we are not happy with with the draw, which I'm gonna dive into right now.